I have to admit, I've struggled this week to find time to sit down by myself and think about what I wanted to say. You might have seen me outside a coffee shop with a notebook. I was waiting to meet somebody. They were already pretty late, and I was thinking, I don't have time for this, when a man who was walking past stopped and said, "Hello." Now, I have to admit, I thought two things to myself. First, I don't have time for this either. The second was a problem, because I get this kind of awkward situation quite a lot, in that there are a lot of people in Banchory who know who I am, but I don't always know their name, even if I know their face. And a lot of the time, I've actually known them for so long now that it's long past the time when I could actually ask them their name again. So I struggled to put a name to this face. I just played it safe. I said, "Hi, nice day." Although I did have an umbrella because the rain kept coming on. He looked around him and he said, "It is a beautiful day. You don't look like you're enjoying it though. That's not like you." If only he knew, I thought. I've been sitting here watching people with sour faces drive round and round in circles, hunting for a parking space. And all the time, probably thinking to themselves, well, what a great job he has, sitting outside coffee shops all day. And in reality, I have a pile of books to read and take notes on. I've got a list of people who I should talk to. I've got staff to think about and look after. I've got music to choose. I've got videos to edit. I've got kids to take places at home. I've got emails waiting to be answered. I've got a sermon to write and then to record for Sunday. And instead, here I sit waiting for someone who might not even come, and while I watch people with sour faces going round and round in circles. "I know," he said. "I hate it when they do that. Why are they in such a bad mood anyway? Why don't they just walk or take a bike or just park further away and walk for a change? It would be good for them. Anyway, what's your sermon supposed to be about then?" I tried not to look flustered. I didn't realise that I'd said all that out loud. I'm in the middle of a series on the letter called The Revelation, but we've taken a break for a wee bit because of the October holidays. I was still a bit embarrassed about saying that out loud. I'm still trying to work out what would be helpful to say this week, I said. I thought maybe something about what God is inviting us to be part of, and yet all the excuses we make. "I see," he said. So what does God invite you to be part of then? Good question, I thought. And in my head I was also thinking, where do I know you from? "Well," I said, thinking fast. "The Bible says we are made to love God, to worship, to have a relationship with him, to enjoy him. But also we're made to be people who take care of the world that he made." But inside my head I was thinking, if you ask my family, they might say something completely different. They might say that Dad was made to pay for things, or stop embarrassing them, or to give them lifts places, or to let them stay on their electronics for just a bit longer. And then if you asked one person connected to the church, they might say, well, his job is to get people to come to church. Another might say, well, his job is to make my children become Christians. And another might say, well, he's to make church services more like the way I like. And then another might say, well, he should be at every meeting. And other people say, well, he should get my old friends back to church. And another might say, well, he should get young people to behave. And another might say, well, he should be keeping everybody happy. And another might say, well, he should be spending his time doing something more useful than sitting about outside coffee shops in the rain waiting for somebody who's now nearly an hour late. "Oh, diddums," said the man. "You really are feeling sorry for yourself." I couldn't believe it. I'd done it again. I'd just gone and said all that out loud. If he knows people at the church, then that's it. I'll be given my marching orders. "Come on, Tony," he said. "I know you. You don't think like that normally. What is it you're always telling your young leaders? Smell the flowers, live in the moment, savor things, learn to say no. Look, you're just a bit stretched. You're just a bit tired. You're obviously fed up waiting." Who is this guy? I thought. He seems familiar. But he's not from the church here, which is good. Maybe I knew him somewhere else. Maybe he was at university with me. Hey, he said, doesn't the Bible say you're made to be part of God's family? Well, that's right, I said. In fact, I'd just been reading a book that says, as human beings, we can't ever be happy or fulfilled alone. We're all made to be part of a family. So, what's the problem then, he asked? Well, I didn't want to say or think anything actually at this point. Not only was I worried about what I might say out loud, but he touched a raw nerve. Thinking about family is great when I think about my kids and my wife, but it's different when I start to think about my own mum and dad and the fact that they're not around anymore and haven't been around for a long time. And I'm not one to bear grudges, but I do find myself starting to think, well, they did miss my wedding and they missed the birth of their grandchildren. And they're not around to ask questions about what I was like or show photos of what I've been up to. They've never seen anything of what I've done here in Banchory. They've never seen me serve the West Church. They've missed all that. And I can't help, I know I shouldn't, but I can't help thinking sometimes that I've been left alone. That's not true, he said. And you know it. You're just feeling sorry for yourself. You're making excuses and you're thinking about yourself again. I was I was stunned. I was sure I hadn't said a word out loud. He just went on. Tony, he said, when I said a branch cannot bear fruit by itself, it only bears fruit when it remains in the vine, I meant it. When I said I've told you this so that my joy in you will be complete, I meant it. When I said there are many parts in my body, but you all belong to one another, I meant it. You know this, he said. You've been talking about it for years. Relationships. That's what you do. That's who you are. You know, young people don't grow just by coming to church. They grow by belonging, by taking part. Remain in me, I said. That's what people in Banchory are so great at, making you feel like you belong, whoever you are. I made you all to belong to each other. You can't function by yourself. I meant it when I said the most important thing is to love me and to love each other. You all belong in my family. So your mum and your dad didn't miss your wedding or the birth of your children. They didn't miss you seeing you build all these relationships with people here. They didn't miss a step or a trip or a giggle of your kids because you're surrounded by mums and dads and aunts and uncles and brothers and sisters. In this coffee shop, in this street, on the Zoom service, at the school gates, in the food bank, round a kitchen table in Banchory. Your family are out there leading Bible studies at their universities. They're telling people about me in the street. They're playing music in their church. They're looking after COVID patients in wards. They're teaching your kids in your schools. They're even driving round and round in circles with sour faces right now looking for parking spaces. Tony, you have been adopted into my family, and that family is never going to split up or die or ever leave you alone. I was crying by this stage because now I knew who he was, and I didn't know what to say. I just sat there. I have to go, he said. It was good to talk. By the way, the person you're meeting is going to be here in a wee while. He missed a turning. He's going to call again in a minute when he realises, and anyway, he smiled, pointing at my notebook. He says, you have a sermon to finish. My phone started to ring. I looked down to see who it was, and when I looked up, he'd gone. I answered the phone. Hi. What? Oh, don't worry about it, I said. Take your time. I have all the time in the world.